Okay, we're going to be factoring, and I should have written in here trinomials, blah, 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 by factors. And what I mean by that is, again, we need to know our standard form, y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, and I'm going to write those variables in here. We need to know what our a is, we need to know what our b term is, and we need to know what our c term is, okay? And again, the c term is the constant, the b is the coefficient attached to the x with the power of 1, or the one we don't really see, and the a is the coefficient attached to the x squared, okay? Those are really important. What we're going to do in this is we're actually going to find factors, and we need to find the factors of our a term, so the factors of 12, and our c term, the factors of 12. They end up being the exact same numbers. Those factors, okay, and this is the part that's a little confusing, need to multiply, okay, to two products. And those products need to add up to our b term, which is negative 25. Okay, so I'm going to write that down here. We need to add to negative 25. And you could say technically negative 25x if you want. Usually just focus on the numbers themselves, but the x is good. It helps us. So if we're going to write the x in, then I'm going to show you a good way to start with the factors of 12. Let's write out our factors of 12, one on top of the other. Okay, so 1 times 12. Okay, and because it's x squared, I'm going to say 1x times 12x. Okay, together they make x squared. Another set of factors is 2x and 6x. Another one is 3x and 4x. That's it. They're all written out. Okay, and I'm also going to write out the factors of our c, which happen to be the exact same things in this case. That won't always happen. Okay, and what I want you to look at is these. We're going to set them up like columns. Oh, can I? Not what I wanted. And my computer's not working, so I'll use this. Okay, I'm going to set these up in columns. Okay, so there are technically 3 separate columns here, and we're going to keep them separate. Okay, and same with our other one, because there's 3 sets of factors. There's going to be 3 columns. You can make this much easier. I just wanted to color code it for us. What we're going to be doing is testing a whole bunch of options to see what gets us to negative 25. So I have all my factors laid out on the board. I'm going to go through my first column, and I'm going to test it to all of these columns to see if it gets me where I need to go. Okay, so 1 times 1 and 12 times 12, well, that's 1 and 144. Definitely doesn't work. Okay, we also got to go across too. 12 times 1 and 12 times 1 is 12 and 12. Close, but didn't work. Okay, we move to the next one. 12 by 6 and 1 by 2, that gives me 2 and 72. That doesn't work. And then we go across, 12 times 2 and 1 by 6, that gives us 24 and 6. That didn't work either, right? And then we go to the last one, 4 and 12, 1 and 3, that's 3 and 48, didn't work. 12 and 3, 1 and 4, that's 4 and 36. And even if we subtract that, it doesn't work. So what we just discovered is that red column there doesn't work. It's not, obviously it's not going to be one of our factors, so I can kind of cross that out. Okay? Now I go to my next set. So this is a lot, very methodical. 2 by 1 and 6 by 12, 72 and 2. We already know that doesn't work. 6 and 1 and 12 and 2. Well, that's 24 and 6. Close, but it doesn't work. 6 and 6, 2 and 2. So I'm going to go faster through this, okay? This is 36. I said faster and I went slow. 4, even if I subtract it, doesn't work. 6 by 2 is 12, 12. Didn't work. That becomes 24. That becomes 12. Doesn't work. 18 and 8. Didn't work. So this column didn't work. And we've done this question already, right? So we kind of already knew those weren't going to be our factors. That's fine. So we're down to our last column. So this must be the first terms in our factor form, okay? Unless I made some error beforehand. I'm going to test them again. 4 and 12 is 48. 3 is 3. No good. 4, that gives us 36 and 4. Still no good. So I've exhausted all of these. I can even start crossing out these columns now, okay? So I'm going to cross out this column. That guy didn't work. And this won't always happen that we got down to like the last possible option. Sometimes on your very first option it works. 4 by 6 is 24. 3 by 2 is 6. Didn't work, right? And 4 by 2 and 3 by 6, 18 and 8 didn't work again. Another column didn't work, which means this should work. And we're going to test it to make sure. So this is the longest you would possibly go where you exhaust all the options. So 4 and 4 and 3 and 3 is 9 and 16. Together, do they make 25?
Yeah.
They do. The only thing is it's negative 25. So that means these factors both have to be negative, right? In order for me to make negatives. And a negative times a negative is a positive, so that worked out great. This happened to be a very long version of what we're doing. Okay. So I'm going to actually write these in here with solid lines because this is going to be important for us. We did, oops, go away please. Okay, 4 by 4 and got negative 16x. And we did 3 by negative 3, which gave us negative 9x. When we add those together, we get negative 25. This is great. Now we can go right into our factored form. If you recall, our factored form has 2 sets of brackets. So I draw them in, and now I'm just filling in the blanks. Now, this column, the red column, will represent the first terms in each. I can write them essentially anywhere. 3x and 4x. The green column represents the second terms in each. Okay? Now, there's one stipulation here that we have to make sure we get. Whatever we multiplied by, we can't actually keep in the same bracket. So my 3x and my negative 3, they can't actually go together. So that means the negative 3 has to go where?
With the 4x.
Yes, that's right. So it goes, oh, how did I get to that color? There we go. Negative 3, and that means the negative 4 goes here. Okay, so that's just kind of an organization. And the reason for that is because to go the other way, you have to distribute and you'd have to multiply. Not that important right now, but that's it. We've got it. So we exhausted a lot of factoring, and sometimes we do that in our very first try. And then what will happen is we have our 2 columns, and then it's just setting up. Sometimes it's not till the very last pairing we try that we get what actually works. And that would be your answer. I'll write it in black just so it's a little more solidified. But that's y equals 3x minus 4 and 4x minus 3. And that's it. You've got your factor form.